All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are. This is DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. Looks like social media wants to let us know who is joining us. So do me a favor and let us know who you are, where you are from. I see my daughter is in the house. Hey, boo, hey. So yes, this is the first time I'm able to go live all day long. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to build your list using my favorite vehicle, using webinars. So first of all, I want to thank you and welcome each of you as you are joining, even if you are watching the replay. So I try to give my Instagram family love because they only get about 10 minutes of my time. Sorry, Instagram, they only give us 10 minutes. So, we post the rest of the video over on our YouTube channel, so you can watch the remaining of the training on my YouTube channel. So that means you have to subscribe. So anyway, welcome Autumn, welcome Lavelle, welcome Oren from Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining. So oftentimes I come to you and I let you know, hey, listen, there's one particular vehicle that has allowed me to build my business from the comfort of my own home. I think my daughter probably can teach this as well. So thank you so much for sharing, right? And so that one particular vehicle is webinars. And let me share with you how people, where they mess up when they are attempting to use webinars. Some of the things, hey, Monica, welcome. Some of the things that I see, and it just burns me up because if I could just pick up the phone and tell them where they are making their mistakes, man, and how they are leaving money on the table, right? So one of the first things is that we all love the live streaming platforms. Don't get me wrong, because I love them too. But one of the things that I explained to you, that live stream is great. It creates exposure. It helps you, to be known, to find awareness. However, live streaming has a low barrier to entry. Well, DeKesha, what do you mean? Well, anyone can pretty much kind of join in with you and hang out with you while you are on the live stream. Versus when you have a webinar, and it's funny because I was just having a conversation with a colleague and she's like, look, I want more control of my audience. Okay, why not bring them into your space? And I consider a webinar to be a very intimate space where you are sharing drill down information about a problem that they are having. So the point that I am making is that even if you are joining me right now, even if you are under the sound of my voice, whether you're watching the replay, whether you're here hanging out with me live, you did not have to register in order to hang out with me today, right? All you did, you probably are scrolling. Some of you may stay on, some of you may not, and I get it. But that's the whole point about the live stream, because people watch it when it's convenient for them. So some people will just pop on just to see what in the world is DeKesha talking about, what in the world is the virtual COO talking about this week or today, right? And so some will say, well, I'm already using webinars, so this does not kind of pertain to me. Well, if my title said, let me show you how to monetize the webinars that you've already used, they may hang around a little bit more. So one of the things about actually doing your webinar is that it's going to help you build a list. If you were to go and search Google right now and say, how do I build a list? Like, how do I get the first 1,000 people on my list? So, hey, G. Alfred, how are you? How do I get the first 1,000 people on my list? I'm telling you, if you were to Google it right now, we call Uncle Google, right? If you were to Google that right now, one of the things that it will tell you is say, have a free gift, right? Some people call it freemium. Some people may consider it to be a lead magnet. Well, guess what? Webinars can be utilized as a lead magnet. Somebody put that out in the feed. Type it below. You can actually use a webinar as a free gift. That's the difference between a paid webinar and a free webinar. So one of the questions that I always get, and I have my notes because I have a tendency to steer off in the wrong direction, right? But this is one of the reasons that I teach my students the difference between a paid webinar and a free webinar. You know, some people talk about how to make money in your business. We'll offer a paid webinar. Well, if you don't have an audience and you don't have a tribe, no one really knows that you exist. You haven't built a relationship with anyone. Why are you going to charge $97 for a webinar / masterclass? Why are you going to charge $19 for a webinar / masterclass? You haven't built a relationship with them. So why do they want to purchase with you, right? Why do they want to invest with you? Or as they would say, why do they want to jump into bed with you when they haven't even had dinner with you or a glass of wine? I'm just keeping it real, okay? Think about it, right? And I mean, I'm using the that scenario, but I'm being serious because at the end of the day, and I talked about this early on the Black CEO Morning Show, that we build a relationship in phases, okay? So you have an attraction phase where people are getting to know about you. That's what the live stream is for. That's what the podcasts are for. That's what the blogs are for, right? So that's how you're getting in front of people. You can even speak on other people's stages. If these people have never seen you, that's an awareness phase, okay? You have an attraction phase. You may use lead magnet, like a free gift. We give away the free webinar checklist, right? So the free webinar checklist, that's a way that we build our list and we identify people who are interested in using webinars in their business. But they also are now on our list. Then we can invite them because they're on our list. We can also invite them into a webinar. So that's the second level. Now, what if I did a free webinar on, one we've done in the past was 7 ways to double your webinar attendance, right? So people that are already using webinars in their business, they're going to want to come hang out with me and find out, wait a minute, I'm already doing kind of / webinars in business, but what if I want more people to show up? I might have to register for DeKesha's webinar, right? And the reason being is because now that I'm implementing the webinars in my business, I want to double my attendance because we know that 40% of the people that show up to our webinar will become our prospective clients. Holla if you hear me. Instagram, I love y'all. You got to catch the rest of the video on YouTube. All right, I'm gonna leave that right there. But anyway, so let's get back to the topic, right? So, and perfect example, IG awareness. Your girl is just creating awareness on IG. Let me tell you something, Periscope still popping. A couple of people have reached out to me. They say they see my Periscope videos. Anyway, it's all about creating the awareness, and then you invite them to a webinar so that you can nurture that relationship and convert them. Attraction, awareness, nurture, conversion. Somebody write that down, right? Awareness, attraction, nurture, conversion. Or attraction, awareness, nurture, conversion. At the end of the day, you need to have an attraction phase. What are you doing to create the awareness of your brand? You have to have an attraction phase. What are you doing to create the awareness for your brand? What are you doing to nurture the relationship? What are you doing to create a way for you to convert? I'm giving you the secrets. I'm giving you the steps. What's up, Keisha Bass? That's my YouTube specialist out there. Everybody go make sure that you subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's getting ready to drop the YouTube class, but I ain't gonna tell y'all all about that. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, so I love it. So awareness, attraction, nurturing, and conversion. So let's go back to how do you build your list using the webinars. Well, there's a couple of things that have to take place before they actually register. All right. Number one, you got to get really, really funky with your titles. Like, you have to have some captivating, magnetic, in your face titles. Like the ones that have really been slamming, or y'all got to excuse my street colloquialism. I don't know what you call it, like hitting it, like they getting it, it's sticking. is how we generated $15,000 in 21 days, right? How we generated $15,000 in 21 days. Like every time I say that, or if I do the math, show my receipts. Like I'm not really big on showing my receipts, but I guess you got to have the validation, right? So as you guys have been joining the webinars over the past like 7 days, we've been sharing the journey to 7,000 with one product. The journey to 7,000 with one product. What are we calling that? 25,000 in 90 days. So all it is, 25,000 in 90 days. So those are the things that's sticking. So number one, you have to have a captivating title that helps solve the problem, right? And I've been scrolling through Facebook, and some of the viewership for some people have very generic titles. Like, get to the point. If you're going to talk about how to make money online, then say that. If you're going to talk about how to pick up $200,000 of money that people owe you, then say that, right? So get to the point. If you're going to talk about how to monetize YouTube, say that. But stop making them cute where people are like, huh? What? Okay? So that's number one. Your title has to make sense. Your title has to get to the point where people are going to jump on and stay on, especially if you're going to use the same title for like a live stream and a webinar. Because here's the difference. People only hang on your live stream for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm sorry. You might have a small percentage that's going to watch the entire video, but they're going to come back and they're going to watch the replay. Now, when you have a webinar, either they have to watch it, right? Either they have to watch it when you air it, because guess what? They know that that webinar is going to come down. They know you're going to take it down. Whereas, like this, think about it. Our mindset is trained that if DeKesha does a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, that it's going to be on her page. People never think, oh, snap, she might take that down. She might hide it from her timeline. And I've done this before. So when we did our I Am My Priority Summit, you think all those videos are still available? Absolutely not. They're hidden from my timeline. And the reason why I hid them from my timeline, number one, I don't want to lose my stats. We had over 10,000 views on those videos, so it helps the algorithms on your page. So I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to hide them. But you can't go back to them if I want to sell them. Same thing for a live stream. Some people take their live stream and sell them in their membership area. I'm trying to help somebody, right? All right. So back to our webinars. You have to have a captivating title. You have to have a title that makes sense. Number two, you have to have an email marketing system. Let me clarify. Please make sure you have an email marketing system that allows email automation. Someone type in the notes below email automation. Does anyone know what email automation is? You can give me an emoji. You can throw your hands up. Whatever you want to do. Let me know that I'm talking to somebody out there if you know what email automation is. All right, well, let me show you what it is, right? Well, let me share with you. I'm not going to show you. Let me share with you exactly what email automation does for you. So if you register for my webinar, I'm going to send you a series of emails after you register. DeKesha doesn't have to touch it anymore. You'll see it when you register for our webinar checklist. You'll see it when you register for the webinar challenge, right? It's all automated. You can literally register for the webinar challenge like when you get off this broadcast. And you're going to get a series of emails that's going to talk about the challenge. It's going to talk about why it's important. It's going to talk about the difference between webinars and live stream. But I am staying in the conversation. I'm nurturing the relationship for the people that want to hang out with me and learn how to use webinars to grow their business. So a lot of these email marketing systems do not allow for that. So make sure that when you get your email marketing system, make sure you get one that actually does email automation. So which system do you use in your business? We currently use Infusionsoft. A lot of people don't like it. They call it Confusionsoft, whatever. I've just been using it since I was with a client 4 years ago. So it was easy for me to just kind of move over and keep going. So I had a client, I made that client move from like Constant Contact because they are not really good at the whole email automation. So I'm not really sure which one you use, but most of them work with different webinar softwares. And if you want to know the top softwares that the gurus are using, then you have to go check out my YouTube channel because I did a special training on that. All right. So number one is make sure that your title makes sense. Number two is make sure that you have a CRM. Here's why you need to have the CRM or customer relations marketing, some type of email marketing system. Why? Because when I go on the computer, and I type in my first name, right? My last name, my email address, DeKesha asks for the phone number. And we teach that in Webinar Success Blueprint, right? It's not staying in the webinar system. It's actually moving over into your email system so they remain on your list. If you have less than 1,000 people on your email list, you have a problem. If you got less than 2,000, you have a problem. Your goal is to get to 1,000 people in the next 30 to 60 days. I'm just telling you, you can do one webinar every single week. There you go, your strategy. You want a strategy? There it is. Here you go, right? But anyway, so now you're building your list over here. I've seen people make $10,000 off 1,000 names on the list. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, all right. So the names are going from webinar system, email marketing system, webinar system, email marketing system. Got it? Everybody got it? Y'all still here? All right. Number one. Boom, there it is. Number three. Do me a favor and create a webinar registration page. And you know what? Just the simple fact that I just said that, it sounds really simplistic. Like, really, DeKesha, you have to say that? No, seriously. So can I share something with you all? And this might hurt somebody. Sorry, not sorry. Doing a live stream is not a webinar. Doing a live stream is not a webinar. Ready? When you use a webinar platform, that's when you're doing a, it's called streaming. When you go live on Facebook or IG, you're streaming. You're doing a live stream. It's not a webinar. No one has registered. So stop saying that I'm doing a webinar and you're just live on Facebook. No one has registered. I'm sorry. Can you see that I get a little sensitive about that? Anyway, now it is different if you use the Zoom webinar platform. Zoom actually has a webinar platform. That is different. A lot of the webinar platforms will allow for you to stream to these different social media platforms. Thank you. Thank you, Keisha. Tell them one more time. That is totally different. Here is why. Because the individuals that are hanging out with you in the back end of Zoom, like, they actually opted in to hang out with you. Now, and I know I'm just going to have to say this because, I mean, it's on me, so I got to say it. Here is, if you are truly doing a launch, like you are really seriously doing a product launch, you are messing up your numbers when you do your streaming from your webinar platform to your live stream. And I know in your mind, what you're saying is, well, DeKesha, if I go live, it can reach a bigger audience. But you can't manage the numbers, right? You have to remember that the industry rates are like 30% show rate. So if you have people register and then you go live, you really don't know who showed up to your live stream. So you really can't manage those numbers, and you can't get a real show rate for your webinar because you streamed it now. So your numbers are there. You're going to say, oh, 1.1 thousand people showed up to my webinar. No, they didn't. Those are views. So somebody could have stayed on for 3 seconds and jumped off. Those are views. Those are not like bona fide webinar registrants and the people that showed up to your webinar. So remember, what gets measured gets managed. You cannot measure an actual product launch when you do that. I am not saying that it's you can't do it, but if we are in the middle of a product launch, that is not what I teach my students to do. Just if 20 people register for your webinar, church of numbers, if 20 people register for your webinar and 10 of them show, that's a 50% show rate. And I'd rather have a 50% show rate than 1,000 people that just may have scrolled through, clicked on it, listened to 2-3 minutes, and gone on about their business, right? 40% of the people that show up can become prospective clients. That means that what? 4 of those people, maybe 5, close to, right, can become prospective clients versus you don't know who the hell is on your live stream. I'm just being real. I'm helping somebody, right? And then the last thing, and this is the biggest piece where a lot of people drop the ball. And we have a promotional calendar for all of our students in WSB. You got to get your promotional game straight, y'all. Like, seriously. If you want to seriously do a webinar, stop waiting till the day before promoting your webinar saying, join my webinar. We're not going to even go into the marketing message. We teach the marketing message in WSB, right? But you got to step up your promotional game. Like, you have to allow yourself to use the 8 to 12 strategies that we teach. Like, some people they post one day and say, oh, nobody showed, but you didn't promote. You didn't use the social media platforms. You didn't use your email list. You didn't use the different, strategies out there to promote your webinar. And then you wonder why people didn't show, or you wonder why nobody registered. You got to step up your promotional game. And that's how you're going to be able to get more people on your list. All right. So I'm going to recap and then I'm out of here. All right. Create a magnetic title that makes sense. Number 2, get yourself an email marketing system so you can have your list and you can own your list. No one can take your list from you. All right. Number 3, create a webinar registration page. I know it kind of sounds like basic, but do it. Just have a registration webinar page. That means that you have to have some type of webinar registration system as well. I mean, it's just as simple as that. It's not that hard. And then number 4 is get your promotion game up. Like, get that promotion game up. It's 8 to 12 strategies that you can use in order to get people to show up for your webinar. And then there's we call it the ninja email sequence, the ninja reminder sequence, that we get 40 to 50% of people to actually show up to our webinar. This is all of our students, right? There you go. It's not hard. A lot of times the unknown, we are afraid of the unknown. We allow technology to scare us. It's not that hard. If you can get that, if you turn a camera on and go live, you can take 2 or 3 more steps and do a webinar. Like, no joke. All right. So listen, I'm your girl, DeKesha Williams, your virtual COO. This is your segment on how to build your list using webinars. If you are not a part of the challenge, go over to webinarchallenge.com, join the webinar challenge, hang out with us next week, seriously, and we're going to walk you through setting up the content for your first webinar, especially if you've never done one. If you think you got webinars down pat, I'm going to show you how to really monetize them. So still join me in the webinar challenge, right? You can get there by going to webinarchallenge.com, thewebinarchallenge.com. Listen, be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.